Yeah, so everybody, this is Mark. Mark is the founder and CEO of Pintellect, which is a startup out of Vancouver, Canada. But Mark's actually really from Toronto, so he can talk about both cities. And he has, I think, two or three challenges, for the VanHackathon. So we thought we'd do a little hangout just to get Mark's input and get all your questions answered about what they're looking for and how you guys can help. So maybe you can start off telling us a little bit about you and about Pintellect, and then we can talk about what kind of talent you're looking for.
Awesome. Well, it's awesome to be a part of this. My background, as Ilya said, I'm from Toronto originally. I go back very often. I came from kind of the agency world, marketing agency there, and worked with Coca-Cola quite a bit. One of the challenges we had within Coca-Cola that from an employee engagement perspective is connecting kind of the entry level to mid-level employees with senior leadership, and being able to amplify the coaching and sharing of expertise and the collaboration of ideas. So what we would often do is share articles, but it would often involve kind of old school cutting and pasting snippets of the article to people, and you would have to kind of manually copy and paste and write a summary and those types of things. So as technology has evolved and we have things like enterprise social networks, there's been a big opportunity to add incremental functionality to these platforms. So Pintellect is a tool that archives any shared article or PDF or book and allows employees to add highlights and annotations to it. So notes in the margin, it integrates on Slack. So if you want to call out someone's name and tag certain aspects of the information that you're talking about, in today's fast-paced world, it's critical to stay on top of industry trends. And so this is a tool that can involve the whole company. And so as an entry-level employee, you can see what the president highlights in an article and what they find relevant to the business. And that's really what we're striving to space. And we also tap into employee engagement and internal communications to understand what information is communicated within a company and why it's communicated, and how to make sure that employees in the future continue to have access to that intellectual property.
Very cool. I like that you can see what the president is highlighting and what the president thinks is important. That's a cool way to describe it. So, Mark, what are you looking for? We have three challenges. Maybe we can walk through the three of them and see what questions people have. How's that sound?
Cool. Well, I'm going to start with the Slack bot challenge. So, I mean, we're all huge Slack users on this call. And the bot, whether the bots are in, any communication platform, they're becoming a bigger and bigger thing. So I think anyone has an interest in working with bots and believes in kind of the unlimited functionality of a bot, this could be a really cool challenge for you. And with Pintellect, we've built a bot. The bot serves as an authentication tool with our integration on Slack. But what it can also do is capture any existing links that are shared. What we're looking for is increasing the bot capabilities. So some areas where we're looking to do that is through better notification techniques, so notifying employees when certain people have shared content, receiving notifications when the content is interacted on, and things like that. Another big thing, and something that we hear a lot from organizations that use Slack, is when you're having a conversation thread about brainstorming or coming to a conclusion as a team, sometimes it's nice to archive a thread of conversation. So let's say there's 10 things that were said that led to a conclusion, or that you just want to be able to reference that conversation in the future. Having the bot able to capture that and perhaps convert it into a PDF so that you can import that into Pintellect. So when that's done, you can then add additional highlights and annotations. We're looking for people who think they might be able to figure out how to do that. And my gut says it is feasible, but we just haven't invested the time to try and figure it out. So we want to see if there's people interested in that bot functionality who could figure out what's the best way that when a conversation is had and we want to capture it, how can we instill something where the Pintellect bot can capture a thread, archive it, tag it, and mention names accordingly.
Cool. And so that's a Slackwell challenge.
Yeah.
And, what else? What else we got?
So the design is a big thing. So a lot of the conversations that we've had with enterprises, they share a similar problem. And that is, it's one thing to have a platform that millennials or people in their 20s or 30s can intuitively understand how to use. It's another thing to try and get the 60-year-old executive or 50-year-old to understand how the UX and UI works. So we've been tasked by some of these enterprises to say, hey, listen, we love what you're doing, but our biggest fear is that the older demographics won't kind of be able to figure out how to use it intuitively. So we've kind of used Facebook as a model for familiarity, but then also medium.com as simplicity. And so, I'm interested in tapping into the design expertise within this group to see if someone has a vision of what an interface could look like that is intuitive and is sharp enough for the younger user, but also that their parents could get on and not require any instructions to figure out how to use this, but also make it look interesting. So imagine the user who is interested in hearing about what their colleagues are reading and being able to search their profile as if it's an intellectual profile, just like LinkedIn is skill-based. We want to make this an opportunity that your profile is reflective of your intellect and what you're reading and what you find interesting in all of these different situations. So that's the design. And then the third one, we have the bot, we have the design, and then the Chrome extension. So when you are reading articles, and you get a paragraph in and you think, hey, this is really great, I want to share this, and you kind of have an idea that you want to share it, we have a Chrome extension. It's available for download in the Chrome store, and in it is a scraping tool. So when you are on, say, medium.com or when you're on TechCrunch and you're reading an article, if you click that Chrome extension button, it's going to automatically scrape the contents of the article and open a new tab in Pintellect that has all of the formatting of the article and the images embedded and video and all that kind of stuff. So ultimately, what the challenge is to create an algorithm scraping tool to maximize the number of articles and items that you can scrape. So right now we have about 25 websites that are supported by this because we've built the scraping tool for those websites. But obviously that's not feasible in the grand scheme of things. So can you build a scraper that can get as many articles and formats as possible? One potential route that you could look at, there is a highlighting tool that exists called Hypothesis, and it's hypothesis.is is the website. Hypothesis is an open source tool. It's a Chrome extension, and it essentially, instead of scraping it, the Chrome extension puts a layer over top of the screen so you can highlight and annotate in a different kind of way. So there might be some tools you can rip out of the open source code that if you're not scraping the contents of the article, then you could maybe use a default service that overlays the highlights and annotations on top of that existing screen. So those of you that have experience in scraping and Chrome extensions, I would love to see what you could come up with here in terms of what you think is a viable solution that could get the most bang for our buck.
Awesome, awesome. And all three prize or the challenges have a prize. Could you talk about that, please?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to find something that we can use the code and own the code. And I think it's only fair that a prize is awarded for your hard work and expertise. So I want to put a prize of $500 on each challenge. And if the tool and your submission is something that we deem of, hey, we want to use this. We don't want to use it if we don't own the code. So rest assured, if your submission is the best candidate, then we will reward the $500 and hope that it excites you and gets you extra motivated.
Awesome. I'm sure. And the conversion for Brazilian reais is helpful as well. Cool. So I want to open it up now. So we have some great people on the line here with us. And so anyone have a question for Mark, this is the time where you can ask one in person or with voice. And of course, Mark will be in the Slack group over the weekend answering any questions you have that way. But please, if anyone has a question, please unmute yourself or just raise your hand so we don't have people talking over each other. You can virtually raise your hand, I think, if you click on participants, or just say in the chat. Wender, I see your hand. Is that a hand up? Cool. And then I see Anna after that. We'll do that. Cool. All right, Wender, go ahead, and then Anna, and then anyone else.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Yeah.
I have a question about Chrome challenge. My solution is to be able to share whole the article and just a highlighted point. Is it?
Yes. So I'm running into a plug.
Oh, Mark, are you there?
Here we go. Battery's just going. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're back. I think he's on LTE Wi-Fi inside, so or not Wi-Fi, but cell
I
coverage.
think he's running out battery.
Yeah. Hopefully it didn't die. Hey, Mark, you're on mute.
Hey, is that better?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. My battery almost died, so I had to run, and then I got off Wi-Fi in the process. So, and I'm sorry, could you repeat the question about the Chrome extension?
Yes. My solution needs to be able to share a whole article that I'm reading and just a highlighted part. Is it?
Yeah. So the way it works now, you would scrape the article content, and so all of the content is in Pintellect. And so when you view that link, it drives you to Pintellect and the feed in Pintellect. So that is an option. I think another option is to do kind of like Pintellect.TechCrunch, in the sense of adding a layer over top. But ultimately, you need to see the article, the entire complete article, and also the highlights on that article and annotations on that article.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Cool, awesome. Anna, I think you were next. I saw. Did you have a question? No? Okay, I thought I saw your hand. Cool. So anyone else have a question? Either just unmute yourself, type it.
Hey, Ilya.
Cool. Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, man. The point is I think it's a more technical problem because we can have an access to the platform using the login. I don't know. I think have another way to take a look in the platform.
Yeah, you can use the login. So it's kind of a little trick. So if you're on the main landing page for Pintellect, if you click login, you'll just have to select a Slack channel, and then you'll create a network.
Oh, I need to enter on the specific channel to get that access.
You'll have to find any channel.
Because the messaging there is they have a limited to VanHackathon to 10 accounts to access that. And I think I can show that here, but the point is, let me try again to certify that. But you understand my point? Because the message sent to us is the connection had a limit to just to 10 people to have allowed to enter on the platform.
On Pintellect?
Yeah, on Pintellect. Yeah.
So
I don't
so
know
you,
if everyone here can have access to the platform.
Maybe you can share your screen so we can see, and then we can fix it.
Let's try. Let's try.
So Pintellect, you got a Pintellect notification saying only 10?
No, is inside on is like
Inside of Slack. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see it.
Yeah, I think if you share your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so cool. Could you share your screen? Is it?
I will try to share a screen. And if someone have other question, when I get the share screen and the process, I will call you.
Yep. Yep. And in about an hour, I'll have access to my computer. So I could, if you want to send me a screenshot too, I'll take a better look then.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that. Yeah, I know the feeling. When we just launched the hackathon platform, there's a lot of things we need to fix. Cool. That's what this is for. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, there it is. Okay, great. I don't know who's sharing that screen, but yes, thank you. That is your team limit. I think your team is limited to 10 integrations. So
that's my partner.
I think it's. Are you trying to integrate Pintellect into this VanHackathon Slack? I think that might be my fault then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something I'll fix. I'll fix that. I just need to delete some integrations that we have, like Trello or something. I'll delete it. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Create your own team. Yeah. You can create your own team in the Slack group, but I'll add Pintellect to our Slack group. That makes total sense. Let me do that right away.
Yeah, that's I don't know how many times you need to fix that, but that is very important to choose to us to look and get a look inside the app to start to enter on that. But okay, cool. we wait and
no, I'm doing it now. I'm gonna delete it right now. So just give me 2 seconds. Sure. Yeah, I just removed an app. So it should work now. Let me know, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Sweet, great. Any other questions, guys? It could be about Canada as well. It doesn't have to be about the project. No? Which was better, Vancouver or Toronto? That's my question. No? Mark, do you have an answer? Which one is better, Vancouver or Toronto? Mark?
You know what? They're just so different. I think it depends on what makes quality of life for you. I think, there's an energy in Toronto. There's a kind of a passion and an energy that is very different from Vancouver. There's a different cultural mix in Toronto. Vancouver is a much more balanced city. I think people are generally healthier and better connection to nature and things like that. So I think it all depends on what you value. But I love both cities a lot, and that's why I spend my time in both of them.
Nice, good answer. I like that.
Toronto is very cold, though, so if you can avoid Toronto in the winter, then that's good. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. Cool. Well, so I just updated the integrations, guys. So if you can please try integrating Pintellect into the VanHackathon Slack, we should be able to have it working.
Perfect.
Yeah. So let me know if it doesn't work. I think it should. Cool. Adriano can't talk, but he would like to know about the design. So maybe you can dive a little bit deeper. You're talking about Medium, you're talking about Facebook. Anything else we can just brainstorm around it?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to describe is take the existing platform. The existing platform, as you'll see, is very Facebook oriented. And it was done just for a minimal viable product. So we wanted to keep it very basic. The challenge that is given to us by these large enterprises is to make sure that the platform looks great, but is super easy to understand, not only from the younger, employees in their 20s, but most importantly, the senior executives. So don't make it too complex. And as soon as there's too many buttons and features, then they check out. And then you don't have the engagement of the senior leaders, which is so important. So I really summarize I think the vision from a design perspective is use the familiarity of things like Facebook, of platforms like Facebook. Everyone knows how to use it, and it's very basic. And also use the kind of the simplicity, how simple medium.com is, but it also looks so great too. And I think obviously to say Medium is simple, it does not do it justice, because for the simplicity of it, it comes from an incredible skill to do that. But I think for Pintellect is familiarity of Facebook and simplicity of Medium. The functionality or the main goal of Pintellect is to help, in particular, early to mid-level employees within an organization be connected to the conversations about the industry and the organization, right? So that is one of the biggest pushes from an employee engagement perspective, is how do you involve the young and middle level associates into the conversations about where the industry is going and where the organization needs to go. So giving them access to thought leaders from around the world. One agency that we're dealing with right now is the Canadian headquarters is in Toronto, but they are all around the world. I think they operate in 86 cities around the world. They have offices. What they want is let's connect our employees, in Canada to the ones in Brazil and in the UK and in Australia, because they're all out there doing similar things within their consulting fields, but there's no connection to them. So we all read these articles from around the world and we all talk about it. Let's share and give people access to the insights that can come from those, and allow people to have a more intellectual profile that they can share within the organization. So it is a tool to drive collaboration and idea sharing, and it's one that archives it and captures it in a more efficient way than just emailing people or things like that, or wikis or Facebook groups that don't provide an easy avenue to access that information in the future. Let me know if that kind of helps.
And I have some questions about the company. One of them is how many clients do you have nowadays, and how is the kind of clients you're looking for and something like that?
Yeah, so we're still pre-revenue, early stage. We have one customer that is a North American marketing agency. So their office in Chicago is going to pilot this in December. So we have some development work to do to get there. But they're really our foundational client with the Slack integration. So this is the creative department within an agency. They do all the big ideas for Budweiser and these big brands, Coca-Cola and whatnot. So what they want to do, that team, there's about 50 people on their what's called creative team that come up with these ideas. They share articles all the time. What are other brands doing? What are trends in the industry? You name it. They're sharing PDFs, they're sharing articles, they're sharing TED Talks, all these kinds of things. So they're always up on the trends. They were currently using a Facebook group to just paste this into, or an email. And the problem with that is it just disappears, and it's just a very difficult UI to work with. So that's where Pintellect is coming in. They're using Slack. So it's capturing all of the shared content. The other conversation that we're involved with is one of the big banks in Canada. So I'm under a non-disclosure with them. But they want to integrate it on Microsoft. So it represents an enterprise level application of Pintellect where the Mosaic, the agency in the US, they're more Slack, as a Slack team use. At the enterprise level, we would integrate on SharePoint and Internet Explorer and use systems like Delve. Delve is a relatively new Microsoft product, and Delve is like a searching tool to find information within the greater organization. So their interest is, can you integrate on a Delve so that when employees are finding all kinds of documents and information, there's another category of Pintellect where we can actually see what discussions have been had within our organization, and you can filter it by executive or by department or by region and things like that. So those are kind of top level, the two customers that have shaped our approach on how we're going to build it.
Oh, good, thanks. And the second one is about the implementation the implementation of the software, or the SaaS inside the companies. We've had a huge or old culture, that's a big challenge, I know, I think. And how you can work with that, and what you have a plan to fix that in their solution.
So the adoption challenge?
Yeah, the adoption challenge.
Yeah. So I think there's a number of ways to approach it. The first is starting with small groups within the organization. So you want to segment the organization as effectively as you can. So in my case, with the agency, the creative department, they are the influencers within the organization, no question. They're the ones that come up with the ideas that the account teams sell to the brands, right? So they're the machine behind the agency. They're the influencers within that company. So you want to get them using it and adopting it as a team, and then slowly expanding into the other groups and giving other people access to those teams. I think another major part of it is the content recommendation, to make sure that our back end, we're learning as much as we can about the type of user and what content they're gravitating towards, what keywords, and making sure that there's a really robust recommendation engine behind the content, as that's a big one. I think another big thing is senior executive buy-in. So if you have an influential executive within an organization, and getting them, ensure that they're using this and have invested in sharing the content, then those are the people that are going to recruit people to have access to those thought leaders.
Okay.
One last thing that we've built into this is not only the ability to share the article yourself. So if you're reading an article and you say, hey, this is interesting, I'm going to share it with my team. But if you're a manager, being able to task an article to your team. So this came with a lot of feedback. So if you're a manager and you have a team of people, you can actually say, hey guys, really interesting article. I'd love to challenge you guys, task you with providing some highlights. What are the key takeaways here that you guys see as a team? So that turning that around and challenging the employee kind of gets over the fear of, well, I don't want to share this or whatever, when your manager's actually asking you, hey, share your feedback.
Good one. Yeah, fantastic, man. Yeah, it's a good strategy, I think, and a difficult one. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Cool. Great questions, guys. Alan asked about websites that need to be scraped. Do you have a list of them? As many as possible? What's the strategy there?
As many as possible. I think, our first instinct was, okay, we go to, The Guardian, we go to TechCrunch, we go to this, we go to that. All the major sources you're going to want. But ultimately, you'll come across articles that are obscure and that you're still going to want. So, you could probably intuitively come up with the popular websites that we need to have. They're all relevant. They really are, because every organization is going to be in a different industry and may read different things. I think the key is, how wide a variety can you do? Like, is there a way to build an algorithm that just scrapes a variety of them? And if it doesn't capture it, is there kind of a default approach, whether it's laying it over top of the screen or just does its best job at scraping the content? I think this is a true challenge, because it's not like I have the answer and I'm trying to lead you. I almost don't want to lead you too far to limit your way of thinking on it. So I think the simple answer is we just need to make this tool as useful as possible and get access to as many websites as possible. And it's up to you to kind of come up with the approach to figure that out.
Nice. I like it. Go big.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool, guys. Any questions? Maybe we have time for one more. I don't want to take too much of Mark's time here, and you guys, of course, can chat with him all weekend.
Yeah, and I'll be on Slack all weekend. So,
Can I get a question, please?
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. My question may be answered already because I left it over sometimes. But my question is, what differs you from other companies like Pocket? I read a lot of articles that I favorited, scrapped from Pocket, and I think create the content might not be something, let me say, that's not a problem to be solved, because I can create out with some help of Dropbox, Google Drive, something like this. So what problem Pintellect is trying to solve? What differs you from Pocket to Dropbox? Thinking of Pocket get scrapped every site, website we read nowadays. So if you're having trouble with scrapping generically, what the most helpful thing are you doing right now?
So Pocket is one of the inspirations for Pintellect for sure. And if one way to think of it is Pocket for an enterprise. So if you've ever been working in an environment, I mean, my background was Coca-Cola years ago. So you're in an environment where you have incredible leaders who are very charismatic, very accomplished, and you're seeking kind of their mentorship and any way to connect and learn more about them, right? How did they become successful? So if you think of the Pocket approach, I mean, ultimately you're asking the question: Are there leaders that you would love to see what's in their Pocket account, right? Is that interesting to you to be able to tap into somebody's Pocket to see what websites that they save and why? So what highlights within those are relevant? In terms of the problems that we're solving, the reason why I've actually stumbled across enterprises, large enterprises, is because they have specialized departments, 3 in particular. One is internal communications. Internal communications do everything possible to understand how information is communicated within a company. So they have a large budget to understand how messages are conveyed, what messages don't get conveyed, why, what emails get opened, what emails don't get opened. So, so from an internal communications perspective, Pintellect provides the data and analytics behind who is engaged on these platforms, right? So when an article is shared, who actually reads it, who doesn't read it, what content actually drove the most interest in the company. So what are the keywords and the tags? What themes are becoming more and more consistent? There are dedicated internal communications people within large companies that focus on nothing else but that. So when there's a tool that integrates on their existing enterprise social networks that can actually drive those insights and provide those insights for them, that gives them a whole new perspective on how the company, who are the thought leaders, who is engaged, who's not engaged, what departments focus on what, what regions are particularly engaged. So there's a lot of different insights that drives. Another big thing is knowledge management. Organizations have evolved so much over decades, and as new technologies come about, departments need to figure out, or organizations need to figure out, how are they going to capture that knowledge that exists within the company. So now that we have tools like Slack and we're expanding beyond email, we have these enterprise social networks where people are going on and collaborating and sharing ideas. Where the hell does that go, right? Like how do we make sure that we have a modern day filing cabinet, if you will, that captures the conversations and the content that is shared? And that's a big challenge that's constantly evolving. But the key is, for these knowledge management leads, is how are we archiving content and shared discussions to make sure that it's referenceable in the future, and that we can get as much information out of people's heads and actually make sure that it's archived and searchable for the future. So when we talk about integrations on platforms like Delve with Microsoft, Delve is really seeking to do this, because when you're searching for information in your company that's on Delve, it's looking at your email inbox, it's looking at your attachments, it's looking at your Teams public files, it's looking at your calendar, all of these different things. So to add this other dimension of, hey, this article was viewed by 40% of the company, and it created all these discussions and blah blah blah. Those become relevant for what information has led to decisions being made within the organization and what strategies behind them. A quick thing too, employee engagement is another department that looks at this, because one of the biggest engagement drivers in a lot of company cultures is, do the employees have access to the senior executives, right? So where enterprise social networks become valuable is because, in theory, employees can get on the same page and kind of like their things or comment on their things. So to engage with an executive or be able to have better access and understand them at a more personal level based on how they're sharing is an engagement driver within the organization. So so internal communications, knowledge management, and employee engagement are all areas that this kind of touches.
Wow.
Just one more question. Could I? So thank you first for your answer. And just one more question is about the technology you are using. I read about it. You are using React.js as front-end framework. And my question is about, is it the solution, or maybe if we write something Angular or Ionic or Ember are acceptable for as a solution, another framework other than React.js?
Yeah, I think I'd be interested in whatever language that you're proficient in, and
We lost you.
sorry, yep, sorry, here I am. I'm interested in whatever language you're proficient in. I think obviously if it makes sense if it's React and Rails, but if if your way of building something is on its own platform and it can work, then I'm interested.
Nice.
Thank you.
Sorry guys, I'm just having dinner here. Great. So it's been an hour here, so I want to be respectful of Mark's time. Excuse me. Okay. So, guys, this is really exciting. I think we have some nice challenges, pretty big potential as well. And also, Mark, I just want to say, like, after if you find someone, you decide to use the code, is there also an opportunity to join the team on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of building to do for this agency in the U.S., and I'm gonna need support. And then with the enterprise thing with the bank, I mean, there's a sales cycle involved there, but they've agreed to introduce us to the Microsoft team, and to help with kind of the product leads there to help us integrate. So there's a lot of opportunity there. I'm very interested in building up kind of a team to help get us to where we need to be.
Cool, awesome. And Wender, I think it'll be just a remote job for now until Pintellect grows to become a bigger company. Yeah,
for sure. But at that enterprise level, with what we're talking about there, that'll be a game changer in terms of from a funding perspective. That'll put us in a different category. So we'll see what we got.
Awesome. Let's make it happen. I think if you have a nice product to show them, works well in beta, then they join, and things start growing. Fantastic. Cool. All right, guys. Well, last question here from Adriano is about how to log into Pintellect. Has someone been able to add it to our Slack group? Has that happened yet? Or I haven't tried to log in. So, Mark, maybe you can explain the process of how to log in. Just go to the website.
Yeah, every individual person. So one person will authorize it for a Slack channel, but then you'll have to authorize yourself as part of that Slack channel. So whoever does do it, make sure you tell the group what channel it's on, and then that way, go to pintellect.io, click on the login button, and then it'll basically give you an option of what Slack teams or channels to add it to, and then you'll make that click, authorize, and then you're basically ready. Make sure you also in Chrome download the extension. So just Google Pintellect Chrome extension, and it'll give you that. You'll have to sign in again on that, but you'll have to sign in again to the Chrome extension, but then you'll be good.
Cool. So I just added it to our Slack group. How do I?
Can I make one last question, Peter?
Yeah, sure.
Mark, I've just tried the extension, and I'd like to ask you is there a public API where I can test my solution directly in Pintellect?
Could you say that again?
Is there a public API where I can?
Oh, no, not yet.
Test directly in Pintellect?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. So I just added a link to it to Pintellect, but I'm not sure if I did it right. So yeah.
I'll take a look too when I'm back at my laptop.
Cool. Yeah. And I see Wender and Alex also added, João added, Bruce. Okay. People are adding links. Nice. So then, yeah, I'm wondering how we can connect. Like, do we go /Pintellect, or how do we like activate Pintellect within the Slack group?
If it's authorized, so if you try sharing a link,
I have authorized it. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So if you just paste the link into the channel, and then the bot will automatically capture it. So if you put like hashtag,
I see.
in
the Pintellect bot. Okay, cool. I just invited the Pintellect bot to the Pintellect channel. Cool. Okay, and then
so when you share a link, if you type a description, say, "Hey guys, here's a great link," and then you can do hashtag, you know, and so the bot will grab those things and create a post of it on the Pintellect network.
Oh wait, oops. Are you sure it's not at the Pintellect bot?
Nope, it'll automatically find the link, any external link that's shared.
Okay, cool. So I just put our website. Hey guys, here's a great link, then VanHack.com. Let's see. Cool, this is awesome.
And then if you do like TechCrunch or Medium, I think there's about 25, but Fortune.com, those any article from those sites, it'll actually scrape it when you do the Chrome extension.
All right, cool. I'll just put in the TechCrunch article into the Pintellect channel, so automatically that will go into Pintellect.
Yeah. So if you want to highlight or annotate it, then you can open it in Pintellect, and then you just kind of click and drag on text, and then it'll highlight. And if you click on the highlight, then you can add a comment to it.
Cool. All right. I'm refreshing the page here. Let's see if it worked. So far, nothing, but I don't know. I see João added a blog post, or so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'll take a look too.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. We're here with some awesome people who can help solve any issues that might happen. Right, guys? Cool. All right. Well, thanks for spending some time with us, Mark, and answering all these questions. Guys, you know, there you have it. The challenges have been shared. There's a great prize, as well as the chance of continually working remotely for now with Mark and the Pintellect team. And yeah, if you have any questions, just send a message in the Slack channel, and we'll look forward to the challenges on Sunday.
Thanks, guys. Have an awesome weekend. Thanks for having me here, and looking forward to seeing all the awesome results.
Sweet. Cool. Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Thanks.
Thank you.